I think it's good to begin any discussion on Osirix, not necessarily how to use it, but why we use it. We use it so we can see things like these images of the beating heart that we really can't see in any other way, or that we can see, we can interact with in a different way. So if we take, for instance, this dog lung, these are all data sets that are available on the Osirix website. What Osirix allows you to do is to go through on a grayscale image like this. Right, so this comes as it comes from the CT scanner. There's a series of slices, and we can go through and assign color values and ranges to these different levels of gray. Right, this isn't perfectly white, this isn't perfectly black, actually it might be, but they're ranges of gray, and we're going to go through and assign values to them. And we're also going to assign transparencies to them, so the muscle in here has been made very transparent. Right, and it takes a little bit of practice, but it's very, very useful. Here we can see the dog's heart, dog's aorta, the great vessels. The blue is the lung. This is liver, kidneys, obviously. This is what we call a maximum intensity projection. It's not like the other 3D volume renderings in that nothing, or I should say only one value is perfectly opaque. Everything else is transparent to the degree to which it is not white. Okay, so the white parts in here are calcified plaques in the aorta. And we can roll this around and look at it from the side, and we can see that some of these plaques are on the front, some of them are on the back. This is something called a maximum intensity projection. And so we can make those. Again, this is another 3D volume rendering of a broken jaw from an auto accident. And the other thing we can make is we can make a fly-through, so an endoscopic fly-through like this, where we're looking down the bronchioles, right? And another 3D reconstruction, right? So this has the full range of values, and we can add lots of colors to these. And then there are some other ones which are really interesting. The 3D MPR, if you click on that, once you're in Osirix, it will bring up something like this. And it allows you to see a slice through any section at any orientation in the brain. So here, this blue slice is what is appearing in this window, right? And so if I move this forward or backward, I get a slightly different view based on where that slice is. And right here, we're looking straight down the vertebral canal. We can also do things like we can do a maximum intensity projection here and open the number of slices. So now we're seeing in this view, we're seeing what exists between this thin blue line and this thin blue line, and it's centered there. Okay. So if we make this a little bit smaller, we should be able to get just what's inside the vertebral canal. Okay, so this is something called a 3D MPR, multiplanar reconstruction, and we can tilt this to get a very unique and useful view in this orientation. And in this way, you can put together, you can look at anatomical structures in ways you really can't do with a traditional dissection. There's something called a curved MPR, and for that I'm going to open and show you a different image. And again, we're going to talk about how to do this in other demos. But right now, what I'd like to do is just show you why you would use it. So here, if we had a curved planar reconstruction, we might want to see a cross section through the toe, straight through the toe, like this. So this is not, we couldn't really get a slice along that curve, but if we do 2D curved MPR and click OK, it will go through and show us what lies along that line. Let me show up on the wrong screen, of course, but this green line is shown perfectly in this view. Okay, so that's a curved and multiplanar reconstruction. And then the orthogonal views are something I don't use very often. And then these are where you get the other views we looked at, the 3D volume rendering and the 3D endoscopy views. Again, we're going to look at this later on, but I thought it would be useful for you to see and to try to get an idea of why you might use these things before we talked about how you might use them. Okay, in the next demo we'll go through and I'll show you the interface and how everything works. Thanks.